Welcome back to the Nullified Take channel on YouTube, where we've got the TNT takes for you on the challenge episode 4. That is right. I'm your host, Chris, and with me again today is Kahuna. Kahuna, how you doing, buddy?
Mate, I'm doing well. I was battling sickness over the weekend, but I've come good just in time for another episode of the challenge, and I'm feeling very mixed about this episode. Very mixed about this episode because I did this thing like years ago, right? I really got into like NRL tipping comp or fantasy, the fantasy, and I get pretty obsessive about it, and I came like top 100 out of like 30,000 people or whatever. I focus on that sort of thing. And I think like winning our 3 fantasy drafts undefeated so far, I find that I focus on, that was a confessional. That was a thing. So I end up not watching it with as much just relaxing joy, but I'm trying to pick, did I get a point there? Is that good for me? Oh, Josh is having a good episode. There's a Tina. But you do pay more attention, right? So now I'm mixed because I'm getting some good content from my people, but I'm also getting my people eliminating each other and stuff. And there's a lot, so I don't know how to feel about the way my challenge is going at the moment.
I don't know. It's kind of strange. I've done reasonably well in some of the drafts that we've done on the channel, and because of that, similar to you, I took it very seriously. But I feel like the drafts actually kind of took a little bit of the joy out of the show for me. So I actually made a very conscious effort coming into the challenge 40 to, firstly, a lot of people told me afterwards that my draft sucks and that there's no chance I can win. So I've kind of made peace with it. Most people out there probably know the spoilers, so none of my people are going to win this season. So I'm actually just sitting back, relaxing, enjoying it. I can't even remember who I picked. It's like, what happened? It's like a distant memory for me by now. And I'm just here for the ride this season when it comes to the Challenge 40. I'm along for the ride. I'm not taking it too seriously. I'm loving the goofiness of it all. I know there's a lot of drama after this episode, a lot of controversy, and we definitely will be getting into some of it. I've got a couple of things, clips and that on X that I'll bring up that is quite interesting when we get to the actual elimination part of the show. But let's say hello for like all the people here in the live that are waking up at 7 a.m. in the morning, that are here to talk some challenge with us. We really appreciate it. AR is the first person to he was up at 6 a.m. saying, I'll be walking the dogs, but love and miss you guys. One day I'll catch the live, LOL, but please note my feelings on the elimination. It is so rigged, all capitals, as boring, all capitals, as you think Horacio is, Chris. I call BS. And we will talk about that. We'll definitely get into all of that when we talk about the elimination. So, stick around. That is coming up. Danica saying, I'll be listening, but getting everyone ready for work. And of course, driving. Maybe by 8, I'll be able to hop on. We hope to see you on a little bit later then, Danica. And Chris is saying, so excited to hear y'all's take on this episode. We will have plenty of takes. I don't know if everybody's going to agree with us all the time. That's what we do here on the Nullified Take, but we'll have takes to share, that's for sure. And then Chris is saying, I'll be safely rushing to work so I can respond to those takes. Joshua Johnson, welcome to the live. Probably the first time I've seen, finally made to my first live with you guys. Welcome. Tell us, Joshua, who are you shouting for this season? We need to know. Who does Joshua have? Are you team Jordan? Are you team Jenny? Are you team Tori like Kahuna? We need to know. Or are you team Corey like your boy Chris? I need to know this, right? Or team Kyra Maria? And then Danica saying, I felt bad for all 3 guys nominated. Didn't want any of them to go home. Also proud of Aneesa. She went up against a beast. And if she hadn't dropped that ball, she might have pulled it off. And we're definitely going to talk about that. Brittany saying, another strong episode. Sam is saying, I woke up to defend Horacio's honor. Love it, Sam. That is some true dedication, and we will be talking about it. And Kansas James saying, good morning from Chicago. So glad to catch a live. Thank you for being here for a live, especially because it's so early in the morning. We really appreciate all our United States, fellow fans of the challenge that are waking. Like the challenge fans, Kahuna, they're a different breed, right? Different breed.
I love that. It's his name's Kansas. Hi from Chicago. just to mix it up.
Yep, love it. Absolutely love it. But we get into the beginning of this episode. There's a lot of talk between Era 3 and there's going to be a rotation of people who are going to be nominating themselves to go in. They applaud Jordan for stepping up, being the first person to throw his hat in the ring, and we all spoke about that, Kahuna, that, Jordan is someone that is a beast at this game, but he's got the kahunas to actually put himself, to play on words there, to put himself out there. But we kind of find out that this is a thing that they were going to do, all of them within it. And there's this talk about, like, when the next one comes around, who's going to be the next person on it? It's probably going to be Corey. What did you think of this strategy where they're trying to keep cohesion within the team? Instead of having a backstabby type of game going on where the team don't trust each other, they'll all get their turn. So trying to play nice and trying to keep that cohesion within the team. Did you like this strategy and this angle that Era 3 is going in the game?
I did. I loved it. Because, like, on a team like Era 3 as well, where there doesn't seem to be any standout deficiencies, right? Like, you haven't got the clearly weak player. Like, unless you start turning on each other and putting it, like, how do you determine that? Is making it the fairest way possible. And the fact that they analyzed it and said, look at Era 1. They're, like, sniping at each other. They're, like, hating on each other because of the way they have to pick each other. If we can just say that we're going to do it, knowing full well that we'll all have a chance, super, easy. Like, it's going to happen eventually. Own it, kind of thing. But it does rely on people sticking to it, which is always the fascinating part, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's one thing to put your hand up when your time has come, like Jordan did, but not many people have got the confidence. Like, Jordan's got that cocky confidence, like, no matter what situation I'm in, I'm going to be either able to talk myself out of it, or if I have to go into the ring, my skill set's insane, and I can probably come back from any kind of elimination in most scenarios. So obviously, as this episode plays on, we definitely see that that's something that Corey's not gonna hold his word to, because I guess we're jumping a little bit ahead, but we do this on the podcast all the time. So let's talk about it. C-Team nominates himself, and that kind of gets, I think, both Corey and Josh scared out there. They're not planning on going against the big dog anytime soon.
I mean, I would do the same thing. Like, I talk a big game until CT puts his hand up first. And he, like, not only didn't get picked, he, like, straight up, hand was, like, in the air. Like, it doesn't matter how old he gets, the intimidation factor is strong, especially against people that he's beaten before. He literally calls the goof and embarrasses. That's hard. Like, you don't want to go up against that, like, at least limit your chances of going up against it.
Yeah, totally. Let's read what people are saying here. Dabu's saying always team Jordan, and he's got a little goat symbol. I didn't even know you get that little goat icon or emoji out there, so I'm going to have to start using that a bit more as well. BBG95 is saying I'm team Jordan and Jenny. Brittany is saying Jordan basically caused a ripple effect by volunteering himself, which is very smart on his end. Unfortunately, Corey backtracked quickly. And do you think this is going to have some repercussions for Corey in this game, Kahuna? Because, he's now seen as someone probably that's not going to stick to his word. It's when in the challenge, your word is your bond. If you don't follow through with your word, surely there's going to be some backlash within that era with Corey not stepping up here.
I don't know. Like, I guess they probably would be, because Devin is so insulated, right? Corey is on the outs already, like, as far as the inner circle goes. He's got a good relationship with everyone at the moment, pretty much because they've been getting along, right? So if that's not the case and Devin feels slighted by this, or Tori feels slighted after Devin maybe goes out or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, there could be repercussions if the impact is big enough. If they don't go down, or if they win, or Devin goes down and then he wins, maybe the victory kind of sweeps that aside, because it's not like he actually nominated him. He just didn't put his hand up. You know what I mean? Like, it's a more passive slap as opposed to, you know what I mean? Like, it's,
I love it.
You didn't, it's not that much of a betrayal to just not throw yourself in. You know what I mean?
No, we've experienced some real growth with Kahuna on the channel. This is our fifth season podcasting together. I give you the biggest layup that I could possibly give you to dunk on Corey and him ducking the challenge here, not following on his word, and you choose not to take it. And I love seeing this growth. Like, we need to talk about the growth of another character on the season. I kind of applauded Josh for not overreacting in the previous episode when, I think it was Kylan ended up swooping in and having some fun with Naya. And we said, listen, maybe Josh came from a good place and there was this fight against Tori. And I was kind of like, I don't know, some people were still not on the Josh train, but I could see why he was upset. But then he in this episode kind of completely backtracks with Tori, right? It's really weird. It's like, okay, well, Josh, what are you doing? Like, either follow through with being done with Tori, or just don't do it. Like, it's kind of almost like he created that drama so that there could be a storyline on the show, which Josh has been guilty of previously, I feel like, on the challenge, right?
No, I don't think that's it. I think
you think it's genuine.
No, Josh is just a hothead, right? And he's an emotional crybaby, and he had a cry. And then after he realized, oh shit, I just told my friend I don't want to be friends anymore. Like, that was like, he was like, hey, I maybe went a step too far. I was upset. I get it. I said something stupid. Let's wind that back a little bit, because maybe we can still be friends after just laughing at a little thing when I was hurt. Yeah. I don't think he necessarily owed her an apology. Sam B saying Josh did not owe Tori an apology. I don't necessarily think he owed her an apology, but I do think it says a lot about Josh that he can realize when he thinks he's done something wrong, he'll admit it. There are so many people that be like, nah, sticking to my guns, F her. Like, to what end? To what benefit? Like, even if you're thinking strategically, which he doesn't, because he's, a big dummy, but essentially a good guy, right? Even if you're thinking strategically, does he really want to cut off Tori in this game?
I don't think so. And I know that there were a lot of Vacation Alliance fans who were up in arms. They were, besides themselves, thinking that the Vacation Alliance are going to come crumbling down and that this is a thing of the past now. But, Josh came to the rescue for those fans and resurrected that alliance. A lot of them still in this game, so I think it's going to be tough to get rid of them as long as a lot of those players are still out there playing the game. But let's see a few more comments here. Joshua saying, I'm Team Corey, but I was also riding hard for Horacio, Nerys, and Kylan, so my heart is breaking right now. It's looking tough. Joshua, it's looking really tough if you're a fan of all of those players. Dabu is saying Jordan said he volunteered because there are more options to go against in a limb. As show goes on, it will get messy for people like Corey, so why not do it first? Totally true. Danny also says, but Tina and CT stepped up at the end, unlike Josh and Corey. That is true. Sam says the only one being upset about going in on Era 1 was Aneesa, unfortunately. And Aneesa had a big episode. Exactly. But she's also had another big episode here, Kahuna. Like, the show really, really tries to get us behind Aneesa. I feel like with the whole story of her running a final, and there's this very pure moment between her and Jenny West where they talk about, body shaming and how that can be a really big thing. And we see her injure herself, work her way back to being out there again. And as soon as we saw that scene, firstly, I knew this was not going to end well. And when you see two players bond and there's a pure moment, you're like, oh no, this is pointing towards something ominous towards the end of the episode, which obviously meant that they had to face each other. But what did you think of this episode as a whole? Do you relate kind of with someone like Aneesa? Obviously, you've gone through your own journey. You've had your own experience. Can you kind of see where she's coming from with this? Like, I really feel like the show was trying to show us a different side to Aneesa a little bit here, and maybe trying to get us to understand why she comes across as someone that's always complaining about not winning a final, people not letting her get to a final, or they think that she's not an asset. Maybe show us a different angle of Aneesa's life and her struggles, right, at the moment on the show, and trying to keep up with the young kids.
Yeah, I loved all of this. I hated that Aneesa gone home but I'm a fan of Aneesa. I've backed her the entire time, and I always feel like my Tori love and my Aneesa love is like a double thing that just gets me so much hate in the challenge world. The fact that I actually like Aneesa. She's a beautiful black queen and I love her. First of all, as well, the fact that it showed that injury when people were like, oh, she rolled the ankles because she knew she couldn't have hit it. She just said she rolled the ankle. Holy crap! I didn't know it was that
Yeah.
serious. Like a full
Yeah, they make me look
meniscus.
bad. I was literally saying that the previous podcast, so it made me look really shit for saying that.
I didn't call you out, man. I didn't call. I didn't call you.
Hey,
You're doing it.
I owe it. I owe it.
Yeah.
Like I'll own it. If I say it, I'll own it.
See how that's when we're good that way. I'll admit it when Corey's awesome too. No, like,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize it was that significant. That was, I hope that put a little bit of that the conspiracy theories or the hate to bed there. But I mean, she showed that she can do stuff. She is a bit of an asset. I think she's probably more of an asset than Tina, to be honest with you.
People are not going to like that comment. Like Tina is loved in the challenge, especially the old school challenge.
I love Tina too. I picked her specifically because of how, I knew
she's
she'll get
entertaining.
screen time. Sorry?
She's entertaining, at least. Like I feel like Tina is more entertaining for me than Aneesa.
She came up with Elimination. That's what she does. Yeah, that's how entertaining she is. Like, so I'm glad that Aneesa got her shine. I'm sad that she got home, but gone home. But it did show that she was competitive in, up against someone like Jenny, who, by the way, I fell in love with Jenny in this episode. She's just the sweetest, like most lovely person in the entire world. I think to
Gentle
be that
giant.
encouraging of Aneesa, like when, like I know as well, like being big as well, going through whatever transformation, the judgment you get from some other people that not necessarily even from a bad place, but here's how you can fix yourself. Here's the thing. And she's her coach, I know, but she does it in such a supportive way, saying you are awesome already, like the way you are. Yeah, I loved her. She was so sweet. Like I couldn't believe, like she's too good for this show. You know what I mean? And I guess that's why she hasn't been on. Because like you're a nice person and we don't want to corrupt this wonderful like angel.
Yeah. I mean, if she ends up being on the show for like 10 seasons straight or something, I feel like Jenny would change. Like you see so many people change on reality TV when they come back season after season and they're forced to stab their friends in the back out there. Let's read a few more comments. Brittany here says Joss did back out, but honestly, it was smart on his end because Kylan doesn't have the numbers to do anything about it. That is completely true. Kylan's upset, but what you going to do about it? Josh definitely has the power in the game. Dolores says, what I find weird is sort of an evolution is I could not stand Kylan and Big Brother, but I really am all right with him on the challenge. He has surprised me in a good way. And I think this points out to something that I've said a few times, Kahuna, on podcasts before. I don't know if I said it on the challenge or not, but, the challenge is unique where we get to see people come back season after season where, if you go out and play Survivor, if you go out and play Big Brother and you're having a really shitty moment, and like we all know that we have our good and our bad days. Like there's just those days when you woke up and you're not a great person to be around. Like maybe you say the wrong thing to the missus and she's pissed off, the kids are annoying you on that day, and it has a ripple effect, right? Now on reality TV, when you do Big Brother or you do Survivor, that could literally be your season. You could have that one off moment and you can never redeem yourself. You can never come back. And I don't think that people are not, in general, people are not stagnant. We all grow. We either grow to be better human beings or we become worse. And in Kylan's way, I feel like he's grown. Yeah, I think he's grown a lot, and we're seeing the true Kylan. I think he is a bit of a sweetheart, but I also think he's talked about autism and things like that he struggles with. It's like sometimes maybe he doesn't say the right thing and it comes out across the wrong way. And it's not like he's trying to be this bad guy. It's just I think people looked at it in the beginning and they didn't have that understanding of Kylan the person, right? Where on the challenge, we see him come back season after season. You get a better sort of feel for who he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's so many, like you said, people grow, people change, not only with age, but if there was ever a trigger or an impetus to get you to change is something like going on a, reality TV show, like, and people criticizing, people saying they don't like you, blah, blah, blah. If there was anything to make you sort of change, it would be something like that, coupled with maturity, coupled with growing in age, coupled with more experience in the world and blah, blah, blah. Like there's so much that goes into it that it makes sense that that people become more attached to these people because they can get better over time or sometimes get worse. Laurel.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be talking about the Laurel moments. I feel like I was one of the real ones that saw through some of the Laurel BS very early on. I've never been a fan of Laurel because of how she treated Kara from the very beginning. I could tell she was a bit of a bully, and that's what Darrell called her this episode. But Sam B here says, Joss did not owe Tori an apology. Dolores says, Devin just had one of those faces. I find myself laughing anymore. Kahuna Joss is a teddy bear, and I think that was a comment because Brittany said also the look of disgust on Devin's face when Jenny said his name was hilarious. Dabu says Casey probably told Joss to have a conversation. It's strategic. Yes, Casey went absolutely missing in this episode. We didn't get to see much of her at all, which is kind of strange, but she'll come back. Brittany here says, I agree with you, Chris. The convo between Tori and Joss didn't make sense. It was very game coded. We need each other in the game, so let's get it over with. Definitely has to do with the alliance, I think, and keeping them together. Chris says, thank goodness Tori and Joss made out. I'm nothing without the Vacation Alliance. See, one of the true Vacation stands. We'll have to clip this short of Chris admitting on the Nullified Take channel for the first time she's a true Vacation Alliance fan, and that all is saved and well in this world now that Josh and Tori has made up. Hannah saying, early birds. I was rooting for Aneesa and this Elim. So another Aneesa fan there with you. So there are some Aneesa fans out there, Kuna. You can fly your Aneesa flag high and know that there are other people that agree with you, that she's a challenge legend. Dabu here says Aneesa is a liability. Good riddance. If you can't win with Jordan, then no need to even be there. Injury was excuses for an inevitable flop. So yeah, listen. I personally
directly after
all of this, yeah, it's amazing. Like, listen, that is the thing. I want to say we appreciate everybody's views and takes on this channel when it comes to who you love, who you hate. I love it. I love the fact that the fans can be so divided on someone. I still am not a Aneesa fan. I really appreciate where she's coming from. I really appreciate that there's a lot of difficulties that she's working through, but doing that on a show like The Challenge where you need to compete and no one's going to give you a final, no one's going to give you a championship, like, I'm sorry, you got to bring it. You got to bring it, you know? And maybe I do have like a little bit of a tough, hardcore approach to it, but I get where Dabu's coming from. Sam says, was rooting for Aneesa too. She's complex, but I do think a lot of hate and body shaming, and that is never good. So for me, I don't think we've ever body shamed her on this channel. We never will do that either. And I did want to say, as someone that has said on the podcast that Aneesa has to work on her cardio, she gasses out. She did phenomenal in this elimination to keep up with
40,
Jenny West.
40, man. Oh, more than 40.
Yeah,
laps.
It was insane.
Like, yeah.
Like, when I heard that, Aneesa hater, but accept that she, like, who would have, if you had bookie odds going prior to this elimination, how close this was going to be? I don't feel like, you know, you would have made a buck if you put that there was going to be like one or two of those, what do they call the things that they were putting into the board? Yeah, there were like one or two jacks between them. Like, I don't think anybody would have put money on that. Like, you would have thought Jenny West was going to blow this one out of the water.
Oh, speaking of blow, she was blowing wind, like just sucking so much oxygen. Said she felt like she was just getting choked. Like, when you're talking about endurance, and the fact that Tina as well, by the way, if we're talking about the elimination, Tina said that Aneesa, when she called her Elimination, is strong, yeah, but she's also has gotten older. She's in her 40s, but she used to be, when she was young, she's an athlete. Like, she's and she actually said she's more athletic than Jenny, which when you go, what do you mean? But we've said this about Josh so many times, right? Athleticism and coordination is not about fitness, right?
Yeah.
Because despite my overwhelming size at school, I couldn't run, but you know, hand-eye coordination. I was on the basketball team when we played cricket. I'm hitting sixes just like everyone else. I just didn't want to run up and down. You know, you know what I mean? Like, as far as athleticism and control and coordination, that's not about fitness and endurance. And like, Jenny didn't have that. She said, both my parents are musicians. So, but that was funny.
It was shocking though, because Jenny outran Bananas and the competition up on a mountain. Like, how did she go from being?
Was she letting Aneesa have a bit of shine? Maybe.
I don't know. Like, she said,
like, at one point I thought she was
struggling with. I thought she was struggling with asthma or something at one point when she was struggling to breathe. I was like, what's going on here? Because she was so good in that final. She blew it out of the park. She was the first one up the mountain, but maybe it's a different kind of fitness because, like you said, it was hand and eye coordination. You had to be able to throw or do like the basketball shot up onto the gutter, and then it's explosive power. You're like doing these short bursts of explosive power, which is different to doing a long distance run, which maybe she hasn't trained for. And the way that I can sort of relate to that is that, obviously I do obstacle course races, I do long distance running with obstacles and things like that. It takes a different kind of training when you play something like squash, a racket sport in a short enclosed space where you have to do explosive power, vertical lateral movement back and forth. You gas out differently compared to doing like an endurance run. So I feel like some of that may have had an effect ultimately on Jenny's performance in this specific elimination. Let's see what other people are saying. Danika's saying Aneesa could overtake 90% of the people out there. She represents a lot of her viewers in age and size. People pick on her, but in reality, she'd crush them. She barely lost to a beast. That is true. Like, listen, you got to put respect on her name because of how close this elimination was. And Jenny West is also a lot younger than her, right? So really showing that age is just a number.
As far as huffing and puffing, like I listened to a bit of the official podcast that Aneesa was the guest, and just at the start because I was coming on tonight, and they asked how long it was. So when you're talking about endurance, she said it was a bit over an hour. So that's non-stop, right? Like, and she was walking at one point, like, you're kind of walking it over, but it's still an hour of non-stop back and forth. That's hard. At least for me, like maybe not for you, but I hear it and I go, whoa.
Brittany says, happy for Aneesa's performance. She said on IG Live that she was using Jordan as a motivation coach during the Elim. That's great. Obviously, they've had that bond because they've been partners before. I'm sure Jordan's a great guy. He'd probably be shouting for her on the sideline to do well in the elimination. Kiwi also say, okay, I dislike Laurel even more than I already did. I never really liked Laurel, and she keeps confirming it for me. And then Brittany says, I still like Laurel. We say what we want, drama. And I think Laurel is great, Brittany, for TV. I think we spoke about there needs to be heels in TV and people that we dislike. And some people will even like the dislikable people and can relate to that to a certain degree. I'm with Kiwi on this one a little bit more, but I can always appreciate Laurel as a character on the show, as someone that is legendary, as someone that has got a reputation. But I want to bring up a clip here of when Laurel ultimately won the daily. And for me, this was very interesting to see this back and forth between Laurel and Darrell. It just gives me vibes of some like high school kind. Like she just seems not mature when she's having a go at Darrell there, and like the whole back and forth. Like it takes me back to high school, right? Like what are we doing?
Yeah.
She's in her 30s.
To just immediately win, and her first thought is "fuck you, Darrell." Hey, like that's weird. Like that's not normal to be in the fits of winning, enjoying your team. Like the fact that and your whole thing is to spite someone else. Laurel is a broken person, unfortunately, and maybe it's because of peanut butter. Nicole, but she's got PTSD like really bad. And I think she just lashes out at people because the fact that she equated Darrell being old man, sore back, and Emily, a professional masseuse, helping him with that, and she equates that to cheating. This person sees cheating everywhere because it's happened to her so much that she thinks any kind of thing that like anything between it has to be cheating, right? Like she's on such like hair trigger for it. She calls people out and shit like all the time because she's a broken person and she lashes out because of it. It's so kind of shit to see now. After like that's not the entertainment I like where I see someone that's just bitter. You know what I mean? And just
and also
it's not her. I mean, it's her fault. I'm not taking accountability away, but there's obviously stuff has happened to her in her life that has made her this way, but it doesn't give her any excuse to treat people like shit. And I don't like that just for the sake of entertainment because I know it's not like Johnny Bananas does some shitty stuff. people do shitty stuff, but from her, it's from like a place I know that is like some really deep hurt, and that feels bad to me. You know what I mean? Like she's like a
Yeah.
horrible person because horrible things have happened to her.
Listen, it's hard. Like I said, she's not doing herself any favors with these sort of moments that she has where she just lashes out
It's just
lashes
shit.
out like this. And then, like Sam B here says that the massage stuff with Emily was wild and could have been damaging to Darrell in his
Yeah.
real life. Like he's got,
Crazy.
like imagine that this was taken out of context by his wife. He's got kids, he's got a family. Like it's just like, it's game with Darrell, and
Yeah.
she's making it personal. She's going beyond game, right? And she's trying to damage him and his reputation out there. And I've never liked Darrell more than what I like him right now. Like just standing his ground, being like, you're like what was it, like schoolyard bully or something like that he was saying.
Also,
I was like, that's the problem I have.
the two, like just looking at the two go at each other, and she's going, "You're stupid, you're stupid," and he's like, "No one even asks you. No one's thinking about your ass. Like, shut up." Like he's so much higher above in the scale of who won that battle that she had to actually again go to the lowest possible, like shittiest thing you can say to someone and potentially ruin their marriages. Like that's how like she's looking like a freaking idiot. As I said, after winning, where she should be happy, and she
should be
turns
happy.
into the most disgusting thing in the season so far. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think it would have
get
been
to that,
okay if
like,
she was like, I think like we've seen moments before where somebody is like back at you, stuff you, you try to target me. And I think that's fine, but it's the level that she goes after that when she was like the massage thing with Emily. I think that's just that step too far. I don't mind people taking shots and saying, you try to come for me, you can't get me, I'm invincible, right? There's a little bit of showmanship that goes with that, but it's that extra step she takes where she just crosses the line a little bit too far for me. Chris says if you clip that, it is already marked, Chris. It's going up on. No, I'm just joking. I won't put you on blast like that, Chris. I know you were being joking when you were basically being what was the right word, being like sarcastic about the fact that you were happy that the Vacation Alliance is still a thing. Let's see what other people are saying here. Hannah saying, did anyone catch the late night Naya and Tina live on IG? They gave their opinions on the Laurel, and Devin popped in to aggressively say Derek didn't win that elim. It was rigged against Horacio. I don't think we were going to go into that immediately, but people are just giving us so many good content to talk about. But very clearly on this episode, there was a moment where both of them were standing next to the finishing, the board being finished. And this was the clip that we got, Kahuna. There was a hole still there where one of these jacks needed to get pegged into when the buzzer went on the show. Do you think it was bad editing that caused this scene to, like, maybe they didn't have a better clip of Derek finishing?
No.
And did they think
exactly
that challenge fans, like, do they think that challenge fans don't? Sorry?
I think Devin's a troll. The way Devin was screaming at the camera, because I've seen it, and he's like, look at this. Where the hell is the peg? And he's screaming, and he goes, horse shit. It's horse shit, like that. Like, and I think he's trolling because I know exactly, like, once I saw that controversy, I went, holy crap, this is the worst egregious production thing we've ever seen. We always think production's shady on the challenge, and now it's just like the worst possible thing. But I know exactly what happened because I rewatched it, and that peg was there for most of the challenge, right? Until Derek picked up 4 things, fell, went flying, and threw all the pegs in his hand into the board, and one of them fell out. So that's what happened, why it wasn't at the end, but he did get it there first. So that's
right
what the confusion is. And I saw Scott Yeager actually say on Twitter, who's his Challenge Mania, they're going to talk about it on the podcast when Challenge Mania comes out, but he said that like he got it on there first, it fell out, and then it showed it later because that's the B-roll. Like after they finish production, they kind of do another shoot around the stadium and all that to get those little extra shots. But apparently there's a off-screen, never gets on screen, never on camera referee, and they all knew. They said that if it falls off, you leave it there. The women knew that as well, that if it falls off, they leave it, and they'll count it as part of the thing because it got on the board, and that was the rule. It has to get there, not stay on there at the end kind of thing.
So that's what they explained to both competitors before they started. They made it clear, even if your peg falls off, don't worry about it. Like, it's been in there,
Yes.
it's already
Well,
counted.
that's according to Scott Yeager, who is Derek's podcast buddy, right?
His
So
wingman. Yeah.
yeah,
So
so who
it's
knows? Who knows?
tough
But
to
that
know.
was the explanation. And it makes sense to me because I looked at it and it definitely was there. And then I saw him throw the things. It would have fallen off. But I could see why Horacio was so casual at the end is because he looked over thinking Derek's got another one to go. The the crowd is screaming that he's probably ahead because there's another one to go. So Horacio probably got screwed in that he's thinking he's ahead when it's kind of a fell out production-y type thing. But according to again Scott Yeager, the rules were, and you can hear. I don't know if it's because everyone knows that TJ does a lot of his stuff ADR, which means he records some of the voiceovers after the fact and they put it in. Because I listened very specifically. It just says you have to get the jacks to the board, right? I re-listened. I was like, oh, he said it like almost very specifically that it's just about getting there, kind of thing. So
Yeah. Well, listen, if there's one thing challenge fans love, it's a good conspiracy theory. Like, I know I've been on many a podcast with Chantal before where she's also like, this is definitely rigged. This is something that happened. And sometimes the challenge don't do themselves any favors either. Another thing that looked really weird on the editing was how nonchalantly, Horacio was putting his last one in. He was not
yeah,
rushed when he did that at all. So that
I
kind of
thought he
points
won
maybe
as well.
towards
Like when I saw it.
yeah, and that maybe points towards the fact that, like you said, he looked back and there was a hole in the
Yeah,
pecking board for
he's
Derek, and he
cool.
thought,
Yeah,
there's no rush. I'm cool. I can just place it in slowly, which maybe is
yeah,
what people are saying when they say that he was screwed because Harasi couldn't keep up. To me, it just makes sense that your jack needs to be in at that point, right?
I agree.
That should be the difference between winning and losing. But again, we weren't there. It's very weird. It's a shame that they have these moments on the challenge where it makes you question the game because that's kind of one of the things that made me fall out of love with cricket, right? Because for a large period of time there in cricket, there were so many controversies with betting and gambling happening and players getting bought to throw games basically, and sometimes that even happened in boxing quite a bit, right? Where it takes kind of the love of the sport away for you a little bit. You don't want to watch it as much if you think it is rigged from the start. And I can see that there's a few people here in the live that do think that it is very strange. So let's see what people are saying. Very confusing. Still call bullshit on this. Hannah saying Nerys said on IG Live that Horacio is retiring because he believes he won the Elim. Chris is saying, to be honest, I'm confused by the rigging allegations. Maybe they rigged it. Maybe they just messed up calling Derek the winner. But in my opinion, Horacio would have a better win
Yeah,
storyline over Derek. Exactly. To me,
they
it doesn't
keep
make
they
any
keep
sense
Horacio
because
10 out of 10.
yeah, to me, it does not make sense that Derek won this because I was thinking to myself, who would you rather want to win at this point? Would you want the next generation guy to win who's going to be, well, now he may not come back and be there for future seasons, but someone that could easily carry the show for the next 10 seasons or be a big part of the show for the next 10 seasons? Would you not rather have that guy win and build that guy's storyline where he took out the really what do they call Derek in the episode, like the bulldog or whatever they called him,
Yeah,
like yeah,
the
like
people.
you kind of want that storyline. You want new legends to be created, right? If you want the show to
Absolutely.
last beyond season 40.
100%. Like Horacio is like they made him the face last season. He's good looking, he's athletic, he's got it all as far as TV goes, except for maybe a little bit of personality. But he's definitely got like over someone who's been there 20 years and isn't really bringing new people to the show anymore, right? Like it's not like there's going to be all these young people or new things going, oh, this Derek guy on All Stars. Like, like Horacio is certainly where you would rig it towards and make storylines around if you were able to.
Yeah. One thing as well, when you look at this picture here, you can actually see that Derek, he looks surprised. Like that's not the face of someone that's convinced that he won this thing either. And you can see on Horacio's face, he's like, what's happening? What's going on here? Right. So body language does tell you a lot as well. So I do feel like there was some strange things happening within this specific moment. And maybe we're just not completely across it, so it's hard to comment. But maybe the truth lies somewhere in the middle when it comes to this. And I know I got called out in the beginning by AR saying that I normally call Horacio boring, and maybe I wouldn't have his back on this one. But like, I do think he is a bit boring for me. But I do think Horacio's got, like, I mean, like we said, he had longevity. He's a crazy athlete. I like seeing the athletic side of the competition, and when he's there, he elevates the competition. So it is sad if this is the last time that we're going to see him. It is sad that he's going to leave in this manner. I do want to backtrack a little bit though, Kuna, because we have fast forwarded all the way to the end here. We kind of skipped over the daily itself, being the fact that it was trivia. Did you enjoy the trivia, and how many of these questions would you have been able, truthfully, to answer correctly? Because to be honest, I would have struggled. I'm no angel cake. Drew. I don't have an encyclopedia of the challenge in my head. And it was actually quite heartwarming to know that the challengers themselves didn't even know the seasons that they were playing on, what the right answers were. So I didn't feel as bad that I would have absolutely sucked at this.
Yeah, like normally trivia is like my favorite of all challenges, like, which is weird for the fans because I know TJ broke the fourth wall and actually looked at us, the camera, and he goes, "I know you hate trivia, but we love it," which I thought was really funny. But I was like, I love trivia, TJ. I'm with you, buddy. It's like my favorite thing in the whole thing because I like answering them. I'm good at it. But this one was hard, man. Like, I think I answered all the ones that weren't necessarily like who matched up who, like knowing specific names. So like, oh no, I didn't know. Even the body of water and the city in Jamaica and all that sort of stuff, that was hard. But the ones I was proud of, I knew Jamie Chung was the actress. I knew Sean Duffy was a politician. You know, I knew the colors of the Colombian flag.
Yeah, I knew that one. I would have gotten that one because it wasn't really a challenge question. That was more like, I don't know, geography or something like that. Yeah, it was funny seeing Jordan go up against the whole team at the end and just like sitting there. And then obviously we had that moment with CT. One of the big reasons that we didn't actually pick CT, or I didn't pick CT. I passed on him and I chose Devin. Now. Yeah, well, it could definitely come back to bite me in the butt. And I even said before we got to the point of selecting players, I actually said, well, would they actually show CT getting medevaced from the game if he's not coming back? Like, surely you don't want that. That's like maybe a hook. And then I still didn't listen to my own advice, and I picked Devin over CT. The eggs on my face.
Do you risk that with your number one pick? Like, as a second pick,
I was playing
he's
scared.
Amazing. Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah.
I feel bad now as well because I'm like, letting CT go for like because of that, it was scare. But like, yeah, that was tough seeing that as well. Like I felt every bit of it too. Even especially like when he walked back in, it wasn't a victorious like, you know, the champ is here. I heard he walked in and he goes, I was like, yeah, I got you. I feel that. CT, I know what it's like, man. He was like, oh, I'm a bit tender. I'm like, he's 45. Like, this poor bastard. He just freaking smashed into the water as a middle-aged father. Oh, my gosh. I can't even think about it.
Yeah. So we got Chris here saying, I love this trivia format. The points, the question, my favorite trivia challenge in a while. The fact that they could say how many points they were going for, which specific category of challenge questions they wanted to ask, hookups, geography, history. I can't remember all of the random was one of them.
They didn't have to answer in the form of a question.
They didn't have to answer in the form of a question?
You didn't get that. It's a Jeopardy thing. So the points format that they did is Jeopardy, where you nominate. Yeah, so they basically copied Jeopardy in this, is what they were doing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Liked it. And then Mary is here. Hello from Mexico. Hello, Mary. Welcome to the live. Hannah saying it wasn't even multiple choice. Kiwi says, yes, same, Chris. It was good, except for CT. Obviously, that was not good. And then Dolores said, TJ made me smile too on that trivia. Brittany saying, I like the trivia. They really went back in challenge history by bringing up Theo Von and Kendall. Vaughn. Yes, I forgot that Theo Von was on the challenge, but Theo Von, like, such a funny comedian. Like, I just...
And Christina P.
Yeah. Really going back here. Sam saying, I think Horacio is tired too. He did season 39, then did other shows. Only had a
Yeah.
only had a week before starting season 40. So I think he didn't have any more fight in
Yeah,
him.
wasn't that
It's
show
tough.
like brutally long? The one that the
Yeah, I think
Mexican one
so.
he did was insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So that, and he went deep in that one as well. Chris saying, exactly, CT needs more than some water to take him out. I felt, to be honest, when I saw him hit the water, I felt sorry for the water. Like, I thought that, maybe, like CT going out. I'm like, but no, see, I was definitely still worried that something bad could have happened and that we wouldn't see CT come back. And like, if you think about the mechanics of this specific trivia, it was quite dangerous because they had them lying back. And a very strange angle where you were tumbling down and you didn't have control over hitting the water. But what was strange was that when CT hit the water, his legs went in first. Like, it actually looked like the perfect landing. So I don't know how he got hurt. At first, when we saw that clip in the trailer, I thought maybe he landed on his neck, maybe he landed on his back, strange. But he actually went
landed
in
on his
perfectly.
ass, man. I think he
Oh,
landed
did
on
he?
his ass. Because
Ah,
later when he's in the room with Derek, and again, this was just the perfect scene for me because I felt the room so much. Darrell walked into the
body
room
aches and pains.
and Derek was like, sit down. He goes, I can't. And then CT says, I have to lie like this because I can't sit, like I can't sit up. Like he was like, I have to lie on one side. I think he might have like bruised his ass or lower back or something. Like the fact that he had
Yeah.
to lie on his side says to me it was something in that region.
Oh man, like it was funny seeing all of Era One's guys coming together, being like, "We're no threat. Like, there's no way that they should be coming after us. Like, we can hardly move." Seeing the old guys all bond over their aches and pains. Dabu saying, I only one that thinks CT is milking it. Look, I'm injured and old. I'm not a threat. Then skates to the final and whoops their asses. Doing if you're a
Ooh.
Survivor fan, potentially the
Good hope,
Tyson
Dabu.
Apostle move. Tyson Apostle with the arm, when he injured his arm and he tried to play it up like he was injured until the end of the game, until he won. That would be a good strategy, though. And I would love for CT to do that. Dolores says, I looked away when CT's time to fall. It was like a game show. Let's see what other people are saying. Chris doesn't know Jeopardy. No, I don't. I've seen clips of Jeopardy before. Is it Steve Harvey that hosts it?
No, Alex
the one?
Trebek, rest in peace, rest in power. Alex Trebek for
Right.
years and years. It's one of my favorite shows, despite it actually not being on in Australia. So, like, you got the Daily Double. Pew 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 pew. There's a reference that you don't get, but
No.
I love it. It's
But the American fans of the challenge will definitely know what you're talking about.
yes,
though. So
yeah,
they'll
absolutely.
get it. Sam B saying we know he can win no matter what shape he's in. That's true. Chris, it's time for me to unsubscribe. I can't endorse the lack of Jeopardy knowledge. Like, what's up with this, Chris? Do I have to like go down to Jeopardy?
I'm carrying the weight for that. If you want Jeopardy references, that's what you get from TNT. We cover all bases between us.
All bases. Jeopardy is very American. Hollis is saying, just got here. I'll rewind later. Hey, Hollis, welcome to the live. Mary says, does Chris want BB Tucker to join the challenge soon? Big Brother Tucker. Is it Tucker? I just want to see it because I don't really watch Big Brother anymore, so I have to do a quick search on who Tucker is again. I'm not watching the latest season, so I'm assuming it's the latest season. The last season I watched, Mary, of Big Brother was, I think it was it Tyler's, the girl Tyler's season where she won? I think that was the last season I watched, and it's not captured me in recent times as much. Sam says CT and Darrell and Derek were hilarious in this episode. Kiwi saying, yeah, we don't have Jeopardy either, but I know what it is from, American sitcoms. And Kuna saying, thank you, Kuna. You are the backbone of this channel. Listen, Chris, that clip's now going up for saying that. I need a little bit of appreciation. Otherwise, I'll blackmail you with a short of the Vacation Alliance. But overall, I thought it was a fun episode, fun seeing the trivia. And then we haven't spoken much about, I guess, the deliberation and about Jordan in the daily throwing potentially this trivia to like? I mean, he kind of looked like when the production team was talking to him, he had that smile saying that, yeah, I kind of threw this one and that I was okay for Laurel to take it because I knew Laurel was never going to gun for me. Did you get that vibe as well? Do you think this was a game move in this episode?
The fact that he doesn't know Cheyenne's name, you know, when like they said, it's Corey's baby mama, and he was at the gender reveal with her. And then he also, by the way, he popped a little shh when he was thinking of names, right? Like he was like shh, and then he ended up Sylvia. Like he was about to say Cheyenne, like, or he ended up saying was it Chantel, or like, so he knew it was either a black girl. Like I don't know what's happening. Like that's why it was one of the most easiest questions. Corey's literally burning, like, you know, into the back of his brain. It's so look.
That was
at
a funny
me.
scene.
Yeah, like that is crazy. And one of the questions he did at the start as well, I was like, what? Why would he get that wrong? Like, but on the other side, I don't know why he would. Like, why not win? Does he not want to have the power? Like, I don't get. I know Laura will protect him in his mind, but also, why would you not want to win? Like, I don't get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did he not want to make enemies at this moment? Like, rather not be the one to choose who goes down there? Like, it's very interesting that he felt comfortable enough to not win it himself, because Laurel would have probably been safe at the same time. Jordan didn't really have any. Well, he had Aneesa then that he would have to try and keep safe, and he would have to keep Laurel safe at the same time. Is that maybe the reason for it? Like, he didn't want to show his cards. I don't know. It's very interesting. I don't think Aneesa could have held any like bad feelings towards him afterwards, because Laurel and Jordan did have like an intimate relationship at one point, like, and he hasn't had that with Aneesa. Like, that goes deeper. So I don't know what his motivations were so early on. Maybe he doesn't want to stand out, but it's Jordan. He's standing out regardless. Like, he's a threat regardless. People know he's good, right? So, but it was funny.
Even if he didn't throw it, even if he didn't throw it at all, and he was 100% got it wrong on Cheyenne, which again is crazy. He knows her in real life and went to a gender reveal. Like, even if he doesn't know that, like, he would play it up. Like, he would give the option, that little look he did to the camera where we're all going, did he? Like, you know, that's what's great about Jordan. There's that either way. Yeah, either way, he's gonna give that, like, that bite to the camera where, like, I stuffed it up. I didn't think, but I'm gonna make you, like, I know what good TV is. I like that about Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah. So Mary Duda is saying pretty much everyone is hyping Tucker to join the challenge. Ask Chantel for context. Okay, Mary, I will ask Chantel because I know Chantel is up to date with the tea when it comes to Big Brother. Dolores is saying Tucker is currently a evicted player who has been screaming how he wants to go on the challenge, saying that he would kill it. And then Hannah says Tucker from BB
Big
has the
Brother
capabilities. Oh, yeah. As soon as he comes on, Devin gives him the old Big Brother sucks. Hannah's Tucker from BB has the capability to do very well on the challenge, and he's expressed interest to do it. What did you think of Bananas's cop out in this moment where he's like, I can't make the decision. Laurel's holding me hostage on this decision of who's going to go. And sorry, Derek, who I've got a friendship with for many decades now. And, I can't simply choose, because if I try and strong arm Laurel, I'll be doing the Tony move, and I'm just going to go down there and throw us both in. What did you think of Bananas in this moment doing that? Surely you weren't surprised, because, I mean, that is kind of Bananas 101. He doesn't have anyone's back.
Yeah, he's the greatest player ever. He's got the most chips, and there's a reason for it, right? He's because he didn't go down, and I like that he did say it to Derek. Like, he's like, I'm not going down there for you. Like, he said it to his face. He goes, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not going to do Tony. Like, don't even.
You're a good dude. But like, nah, I'm not doing the Derek. I'm not doing the Derek move where Derek goes in for Darrell. Like, you're not Darrell to me.
Yeah, and I think he also knows that Laurel's difficult to negotiate with or persuade sometimes. If Laurel gets something in her mind, even Bananas with his years of experience knows what battles to fight and which ones is like not worth it. And that's kind of what makes him so good, is that he kind of sees where to make his moves and sees when to sit back and sees when to let a very, angry woman be an angry woman. So, or not make her angry at you anyway.
Yeah. Mariduda says Banana sitting on his throne of lies, laughing, and then Brittany saying what gives me pause about Jordan throwing it is why would he go to sudden death? He could have just thrown it earlier when he was by himself against Era 2, which is a great observation. So I think someone else here said that, he easily, I can't remember who said this, but one of the commenters said he easily, if he lost, would have just said it so he didn't look like he lost it as well, because Jordan's got a little bit of that ego on him where he probably doesn't want to admit that he actually lost. But very, very good move, I think, by Bananas. I think, love or hate Bananas, he's a seasoned campaigner. Like you said, he's got more rings than anybody else. He knows how to get to the end of this game and has been doing so consistently for many years. And
he also
when you
knows
look at...
He also knows that, like, I like that conversation Jordan had where he goes, like, me and Bananas have, we've built over years respect. Like, we know that there's time when we will go each other, but there's time where you don't need to cause that early, because I've said this so many times. Why don't you go for Jordan early? Because he comes back and now you're in trouble, because he's not getting eliminated and now you're in trouble. Now he's pissed off at you. He'll go out and win a daily intention. Like, he'll just go, I'm going to win this one now out of spite. You lose, you go in. He'll then throw off his immunity anyway just to get you. Like, this is how Jordan thinks, right? Like,
so why can the men... I'm gonna throw a hot topic out there. It's gonna probably piss people off, but why can the men do this? Why can the men be like, we're not going after each other, we understand that if we throw each other in, we're coming back them? But when it comes to Laurel and Cara Maria, when Cara Maria is saying the exact same thing to Laurel, like, hey, we can change the narrative here, I don't need to be coming back taking shots back at you, let's try a different game. Why can't they come to the same agreement? Because Cara Maria is still there. She's waiting for her opportunity now.
Laurel is not this, like, Laurel
you
is
can't
not
talk to her.
Yeah, you can't talk. But look at Cara Maria and Tori.
Yeah,
right.
True.
They're kind of that Laurel's
they're coexisting.
They coexist. Laurel's taken the mantle and the shine. Or like there's bigger things to worry about.
It was a bad example, Chris.
Yeah,
it was a bad example. I realized as soon as I said it, as soon as you put Laurel into any sentence, that's the problem. It's not the fact that the women couldn't sort it out. It was Laurel is one half of that equation, and she was never going to listen. Laurel's Laurel, so it was a bad take. I'll own it. I'll own it. I just like to explore all these different options, when it comes to the strategy and why people are throwing each other in so early. What did we think, live chat and Kahuna, about Derek's phenomenal presentation in the deliberation? Like, I feel like I should be hiring him for my sales team, Kahuna. Like, the guy's got like graphs, he's got like a whole notepad there with like a pitch ready to go. The only thing he needed, like, I think it was, I can't remember who said it, was a PowerPoint presentation. If he had the PowerPoint presentation, like, surely Derek would have saved himself in this moment. Were you as impressed by his salesman skills that he displayed there in that moment? I mean, it was Laurel he was pitching to, but if it was anyone else, I reckon they would have taken it. They would have bought the Kool-Aid.
It was pitch perfect. Like, I loved it. It was the perfect blend of, like, stating your case very, very clearly and very, very plainly. Everything you said made sense. They are depleted. 3 and 4 are absolutely the biggest threats. Era 1 is not at the moment, right? They might be in terms of having a CT, having a Rachel specifically, having a Darrell maybe, but as a group, they are not your biggest threat. Like, that makes so much sense. But he didn't do it in a condescending way. He didn't do it in a screaming way. He did it in a self-effacing, joking, funny way while still getting every single point across crystal clear. And then, I don't know if you noticed, the greatest little cap for me was when he turned to the other teams and said, like, you should really vote them in as the smartest thing. He turned to them with respect, like, very respectfully. Like, I thought that was so great. Like, he's not pissing anyone off. He's making them laugh the whole way through.
But then Jordan had to, like, with one sentence, put like a spanner in the works by saying you have to win to be an asset. Like, if you don't win, how are you going to help the other side in the future? And that is so true, because Era 1's not looked like they were going to win anything, and you want to be allied with people who are going to be in power, right?
Exactly.
So, like, it took Derek, I don't know how long, 20 minutes. We probably saw a abbreviated version of his pitch there to get his point across, and then Jordan comes in with one sentence.
This is Derek's argument. That's true. That's a very good point. But with Jordan out of this game, you have a much better chance of being that winner week in and week out, right? You're worrying about putting your trust in someone else to protect you. Protect yourself by getting the strong players out of this game. Then you dominate all of a sudden. There you go.
So, question for you:
How
how much of that?
team?
Question for you though: how much of that pitch do you believe Derek actually came up on his own and wrote down? Because we've been listening to his podcast for a while. He's not the most strategic mastermind out there when it comes to it. Like, he's a great guy, he's a fun guy, and all that. But how much of it was Darrell and CT helping him put that together so that he could go and pitch? Like, I feel like this was a team effort.
I guess, like, when they did have the old man conversation in the room, he was the one that had the paper going. He's the one that told Darrell to come and have a sit, and they probably came up with a collaborative effort, but he was driving it for sure. I don't think Derek was given
his name.
Yeah, I think so. As I said, because it was done in a funny way, right? And like you said, as far as strategy goes, I thought it was a good point. It's really the only point that he has. But again, immediately dismantled by Jordan in an instant. Like,
in an instant.
Yeah.
Chris here says, I love Derek's presentation. That was very funny. Hannah says, I think Era 2 and Era 3 look the strongest right now. Era 1 is on live support, and Era 4 doesn't have all the strategy connections. BBG95 says, I liked how Jordan effortlessly countered Derek's argument by pointing out that Era 1 probably won't win anything and won't be able to protect Bananas and Laurel in the future. Brittany says, I'm impressed that Derek did try to politic. However, Jordan used his strategy against them by saying that Era 1 can't repay what they owe because they won't be in power to actually help. And then Luciana, welcome to the live, says, Derek was great, but unfortunately Laurel would never budge. Samby says, but Era 1 can win eliminations and they can put target on folks. And Brittany says, also, Horacio made it easier for Era 2 by specifically asking for Derek since he and Jordan are friends. Yeah. There was this, also, I think when you've gone, like you see it even in UFC, Kahuna. Like, I'm a big UFC fan because my boy Drickus du Plessis has been winning the middleweight championship of the world, and him and Israel Adesanya went up recently, and they had like bad blood, but all of that was like squashed afterwards. They're handing each other jackets. They're like, we'll hang out when we're in Cape Town. Like, I feel like there's a thing where if you have been in the ring, if you've been in the sand with someone and you've gone head to head with someone, it even happened with Paulie and Bananas when they had their head to head in CBS. There is like this mutual respect that is formed after you've had someone in the sand with you and you've gone head to head. Like, there's just something, there's like a bond that gets formed.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to know the perfect example of what you just said? I saw a picture on Insta or something, Theo and Cara Maria together after the thing holidaying, right? And they became very close because apparently Paulie said to Theo, after Theo freaking knocked the crap out of him, after all that bad blood, said, look after Cara Maria for me now that I'm gone. And Theo's like, I got you. Like, that is so dope. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about. The bad blood, but once you hit it out, it's squashed at that point. Like, maybe it rekindles again in the future, but right now it's done and settled. Like, that's cool.
Yeah. And also, obviously, the only rift between Cara Maria and Theo has been Paulie, like, because they actually were partners in War of the Worlds and were very good partners at that. So I feel like they would get along pretty well, even now that he's gone out of the equation there. But you're right. It's just there's the bond that gets formed out there. Let's talk a little bit about the elimination itself, Kahuna. Did you like the elimination? We were kind of low on the previous one. There was a few people in the comments section afterwards who agreed with us, saying that maybe they should have given us the right color sequence on the screen so we could see when somebody was wrong and we could follow along. This one was a lot more simplistic, right? To see what was happening, you had to throw the ball into a gutter, pick up a couple of jacks and put it onto a wallboard. Obviously, the end of it, I think, wasn't great, and we spoke about the controversies of that, and was it a win, wasn't it a win, for instance. But in theory, I feel like this was a good elimination. Like, this is a step in the right direction where it's a head-to-head banger. It's got a couple of different skills that are being tested here. You've got to be agile. You've got to be athletic. You've got to have some hand and eye coordination. It's testing different things. And as a viewer, it's a spectacle. I don't know how they messed it up, to be honest. I feel like this
Yeah.
was a layup and they still found a way to mess it up in the editing.
You know, it's really kind of interestingly ironic about it is that all we talk about the challenge and their innovation and their dailies and eliminations. This was actually a very Survivor-esque, like
Very.
very Survivor-esque thing. And we're saying how good it was. Because I agree. I did enjoy the variety of skills that is being showcased in each episode so far. And none of them necessarily, like even last week, I said I like that it was difficult. The endurance factor, the puzzleness of it, it just didn't translate to TV. This one did translate to TV. It doesn't have the difficulty of the mental side, but that would have been hard, like endurance wise. And every time you drop the ball, the punishment of having them to go to the far side again. On top of that, I do think there is some strategy here, and I think they were pretty dumb about it because Aneesa dropped the ball. But the smart thing is to just drop the jacks and catch the ball. In fact, what I would do is just throw all the jacks over towards the end of the ball thing, right? Gutter. You don't take one over and put it on. You just throw them, chuck them. You're not carrying them. I'm chucking them over so that I stand the ball while I've got 6 that I'm just picking up like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right? Is that the
totally.
meta?
Totally agree with you.
Is that the hack?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're pretty much onto it. And it's like what
Toss
I
them
liked about
closer.
it was what I liked was the fact that you had to go risk or reward, right? Like how many of
Yeah.
these were you going to risk taking at the same time and still try to make the run back? What I do feel like if we could get a slight altercation for the future in Survivor, if you drop the ball or if you knock something over, you got to start over. And I feel like that's the thing that was missing. Like there should have been a bigger penalty for you not capturing the ball on the other end, so that it was like you have to reset the board and you have to start
The
over,
whole
which would have
board.
been a lot more brutal. The whole board,
It
reset it,
would take
start
like
over.
6 hours. They'll die.
No, but then you would have to be a bit more calculated about how big of a risk you would take, right? You wouldn't want to be right at the
Yeah.
end and stuff it up because you would have to start over again on the challenge.
Well,
But I thought it was
with how close
fun.
they all were, each of the drops having it be, you have to put them back over past the line. Like as close as they were, that was a pretty big punishment, I think.
Yeah.
Like that probably was the separator between Aneesa and Jenny, especially
Yeah.
because of the way
Aneesa
Jenny
could have
sucked.
done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Derek probably would have put any confusion to bed had he not had that big spill as well. Well, I mean, he wouldn't because it knocked out the thing. But as far as that penalty goes, you know, maybe Horacio wouldn't have been as casual if it was a little bit closer because of that penalty. You know, the penalty was quite impactful on both rounds, I think.
Now, Hannah's got a really good question here, talking about the editing and that, saying, is the sketchy editing on purpose? The conspiracies could drive up ratings, more people wanting to watch to see what the challenge... Like, do you think, like, if there is a thought that maybe they're manipulating the outcome of the season, more people would be interested to tune in for the next episode to see who they're manipulating the episode for, or the fact that more people are talking about there being this manipulation on the show will get more people interested to see what is this manipulation that is going on. They would get invested in the show. Because for me personally, hearing about it, they say that there is no such thing as bad press, I guess. But I don't know if this is a good thing on a reality TV game show where you want there to be like some level of fairness for whoever's going to win the game, so you could feel good about the fact that that person's won the show. Like for me personally, I would probably be more turned off from it if I'm a casual and I hear there's this reality TV show where people are potentially they're gaming it to get to the end and it's a fake reality TV show. I think I would be less invested, but more people talking about it, the controversies being out there. Can you see where Hannah's coming from? That this could be something that maybe drives people to the show or more eyeballs on the challenge and what the challenge is.
I mean, it could be because, like I said earlier, Devin did a video where he straight up says Horacio won. This is horse shit. Like he says this is horse shit and he's screaming, right? And Devin's not a dumb dude. Like he wants to come back to this show. He's a champion. Like I think he sees this as there's a future here. He's not retiring. And he's out there saying this without it getting pulled down, without, you know, and the cast are constantly, like, not all of them, but they don't feel as restricted about talking about the show as other shows do with their cast members. Like, we know we've had Million Dollar Island people, and we've had that where we want to interview people and they're like, I can't talk about certain things. Like, these guys,
Even the Challenge Australia. Even
yeah,
the Challenge
Challenge
Australia,
Australia.
like when I had I forgot the guy's name now who I brought on
Yeah.
for the interview. I had to like go through so many levels
Edit.
of checks on that before I could even put it out. Edit certain parts of it out before I could even put it on the channel. So it's interesting that the main show, they really don't care. They let them just say whatever they want.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe they are okay
Connor,
with.
that's thanks, Chris. Connor's interview. Yes, I had to like clip out a lot on that interview, Chris, and like the Australian, and that wasn't the main, that wasn't the Road Rules production team.
That was local.
Yeah, it was local. It was the Channel 10 in Australia that wanted to really carefully curate what was being said, and yeah, it's very interesting. Like it's a lot more loosey goosey when it comes to what people can say over in the US about the show, the main show. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it does drive views. Yeah.
Well, that
it's a
adds
gamble.
to that conspiracy theory. The fact that
It's a
they do let
gamble,
it
though.
happen. Yeah, it is a gamble. It's a huge gamble. I don't know.
But
I don't know.
But then there are a lot of people who love WWE. There's a lot of people who love wrestling, and they know
100%.
that it's fixed. They know it's fixed. They know it's a story. They know like it's
Yep.
not real, and they absolutely live for the storylines. And that is also big in America, right? So maybe that's the angle. The Miz went over there. Mark Long is now involved in some sort of wrestling, so
True.
maybe that's the angle that they want to go in. I personally, I still don't believe it. I feel like they are trying to put an authentic show out, but they get it wrong sometimes. We talk about the fact that they take risks, they try different things, they constantly, it's not like Survivor where the rules are pretty set in stone every season. It's always the same format, it's always the same challenges that come up. They're constantly trying something new, so I think there's always a chance with innovation, there comes risk. When you get it wrong, the line is so thin between success and failure, and when you get it badly wrong or it's contested, it looks really, really bad, right? But when they get it right, the highs are extremely high.
I think there's also an element of the challenge fandom specifically are very keen and rabid for this sort of thing, and do follow that sort of thing, and will find these sort of things. But they also know that the challenge fandom that will go to that level of detail, that are podcasters, that are podcast chatters, a very small percentage of the overall viewing percentage, right?
Yeah.
And they know that your average Joe that just watches it on his Wednesday night does not like pick up on the missing peg in the top corner or the edit this or what does that say of like they're just watching it.
They're not jumping on Devon's Instagram. They're not jumping on Devon's Instagram afterwards.
It's moving pictures. It's flashing lights that lets them get through life without, hating themselves for a second. You know what I mean? It's just entertainment. It's
what a
not
simple
that much. Yeah, it's just not that much to it. But the people that obsess about it find these things, and I think it's a much higher level of scrutiny to live up to. And you can also potentially damage either way, right? Because I was watching, I'm going, look, it's obviously confusing. Why doesn't TJ say what the hell happened? And like, why not come out and go, okay, folks, here's what's happened. I know it's confusing, but I said you had to get your stuff to the board first. Derek got them all there. It's on video. We're good. Derek's the winner. Like, why not clarify? They never, ever, ever clarify. And I think it's because if you go to the minutia, if you go to the level of detail, your average person that's looking at moving pictures and doesn't care about that level of details goes, shut up. Like, I don't care. Like, just announce the winner and keep going. I'm too, we don't need to be bogged down in that sort of thing. But for us who love this sort of shit, we can. Yeah. There's enough there to get bogged down in. But I think the bigger audience, it does not matter to, and they cater more to that.
I actually do thank them for being sloppy sometimes, because it gives us podcasters a lot of content to talk about and go back and forth. We get the live crew coming in. They're having their thoughts and opinions. And normally when there's something very controversial that's happened, the live audience absolutely goes off, to the point where we've had a record number of viewers tonight as well, or this morning. We had up to 120 people watching us. The majority of those people are on X. Over 80 people watching us on X right now, which is absolutely insane. So if you want to take part, Yeah, thank you, Elon Musk, for bringing some viewers to us. But like, if you want to follow us and take part in the actual live chat conversation, I don't think any comments on X, we can see it in StreamYard. So make sure to jump on YouTube. You'll see underneath right down there, it's got the nullified take, the YouTube little icon there. Go give us a subscribe on the Nullified Take channel. We'd really appreciate it. We're about 8 or 9 subscribers away from 2,500 subscribers, Kahuna, which is insane. It's a big milestone for us. So if any of those ex-viewers want to jump over and give us a sub, we'd really appreciate it. Put a like on this video as well when you get here. And for those that are watching this at a later stage, let us know what you agree with, disagree with. What was your highlights, your hot takes for this episode? Was it rigged? We need to know. Yes or no in the comment section below. And please subscribe to the channel, like I said, because we're so close to that milestone now. And we are planning on doing much, much more content here on the channel. We've got the Amazing Race Australia that's kicking off. We're talking about having a live show every week for that. And then we may have, by the sounds of it, 2 live shows for Survivor this upcoming season, which will be Coach Drew and Jake with the classic recap and the American take on Survivor US, and then myself and Kahuna are going to do it later during the week on a Sunday morning, I believe, in the US. I always get the times right, but it'll be like a Monday, or it might even be a Monday morning, actually, now that I think about it, and Monday evening our time. We'll be doing a recap as well, but it will be a little bit more fun, I'm hoping, than just like the recap format. A little bit like how we do it now. We talk about the main points. And we're going to continue to grow the channel. There's plenty of Traitors content coming up. There's Traitors interviews for Traitors New Zealand. So lots and lots happening here. But yeah, 2 for Survivor. We're going to have 2 shows for Survivor, Chris, this season. And be sure to subscribe. Check it out. Check all the content out. The more you subscribe, the more you like, the more you comment, the more we know that you like this content. But I think that's all we have here for this week. So thank you, everybody that woke up so early over in the US to jump on and leave some comments. We really, really appreciate all of the comments, all of the feedback. You're the reason that I keep doing this, really, because, every time we get the live audience come up, I always want to see, Kuna, how wrong do we have it this week, or how right do we have it? Because the live audience keeps us honest. They'll let us know if we get the takes wrong here on the channel, right,
Every
Kuna?
time. And they let us know every time.
Yeah. We didn't have a Kahuna was wrong.
If only the production team on the challenge had live chat to keep them in check and call them on their stuff like that, right? They wouldn't put out this. They'll fix it, because they're not letting anything go.
Totally agree. Hey, everybody, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe over the weekend, and we will catch you guys next week. We will talk about episode 5 of the Challenge 40. See ya.